What's up, everybody? It's Eddie with Up Next Hoops. Today, we got another episode of Hoop Talk. I got a special guest, pro skills trainer, Marcus Hodges in the building. What's up, Mark? How's it going, man?
Everything's going good, man. Everything's going good. How about yourself?
Hanging in there. You doing anything differently during these times? I know everybody's kind of on the online virtual training kind of mode right now. So how's that going for you?
It's going pretty good. Yeah, these times are really unique for everybody. Since we're not really able to train players, in gyms and training groups. I'm definitely trying to take advantage of the Zoom online training and the virtual training. So that's been my main focus right now, doing that for everybody and all my players.
Awesome, man. Yeah, we'll kind of touch on that a little bit here in a bit. But pretty much what I'm doing, for anybody that's new to tuning in to Hoop Talk, pretty much I'm just trying to connect with different people in the basketball space. I've had trainers, coaches, players, ex-players. So just wanted to kind of touch base with them, find out kind of how they got started, what their journey looked like, and just kind of have general conversation about basketball and the current state of it today. So just wanted to kind of get you going. How did you necessarily get a basketball in your hand? Like, do you remember your earliest memory of basketball, and kind of tell me a little bit about that?
I remember when I was probably about 5 or 6, playing rec basketball in Wake Forest, North Carolina. It's when it all started. Just rec basketball, just developing, my skills at a young age. The love was there as soon as the ball that I can remember touching my hand. So that's when it all started, probably around 5 or 6.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's about the same age I got started as well. I was playing here in Raleigh. So, yeah, similar start up there. Now, I know a little bit about you because I've known you for a little bit now. But for people that don't know, you had a really good, high school career. So if you can kind of touch on what your high school career looked like. I know you guys went to the state championship, won a state championship, right? And talk about that and your teammates, things like that. And tell us a little bit more about that period of your life.
Well, high school, I'll start from here. High school started off a little rough for me. Like you said, everybody's path is different in life, and that's what's really cool about life. But ninth grade, I'll just say it was really unique because I started hanging around the wrong crowd. Just being a Wake Forest kid in my middle school days and going to a different school, being in high school trying to fit in. So actually, my freshman year, I didn't even get to play basketball at the high school level. It was pretty disappointing, but it was a time where I could definitely hone on my skills. So my sophomore year was my first year actually playing high school ball. I was on the varsity team, and we won a state championship. It was really cool. My role, I was the backup point guard at the time. We had a senior guy named Justin London, really, really, really good guard, excellent teammate, probably one of the best teammates I've played with before. Wasn't a big time scorer, just knew how to bring everybody together, just will the team to win. He ended up getting hurt halfway through the season, so that was my time to shine a little bit. So I started about 6 to 8 games, I would say, and really did well, really played well. Coach believed in me a lot. I saw my role starting to blossom a little bit more. We won that state championship. We were not supposed to win. We were down by about 16 or 18 in the state championship my sophomore year. And I remember Coach just rallying us up and Justin rallying us up. And, man, we just came back. It was literally like a movie almost because we were going against like 3 or 4 Division I guys. We were not supposed to win. And we came back, and that night we were the better team. Then my junior year was like a growing year for us because we had a lot of seniors leave. Coach put me at the shooting guard position, which I'm not really a shooting guard, so it took a lot to adjust for me to play off the ball, but it was beneficial, years to come. It was a big adjustment for me. We had I think 500 years, really bad, definitely in my eyes. And I remember telling everybody, I was like, I want to win a state championship myself. I wanted to be my team. So me, Darius Johnson Odom, played at Marquette, played for the Lakers a little bit, and a guy named Scott Brooks. We were best friends, still are best friends. And we really would go to every single YMCA in Raleigh. We go to Wakefield YMCA. We go to Finland, like that's where the Leesville boys were. And then we would go downtown where you just get a mix of everybody. And those certain days of the week, which were, that day to hoop. And we just tried to own the gym every day of the week when we weren't in season. And then I remember the football coach saying to me and Darius, he was like, "Man, you guys really got a lot better in 1 year." And at the end of the day, man, I don't think anybody was stopping us. Our senior year was, I say, all the games we lost, we were supposed to lose. We lost the game, the Christmas tournament, a really, really good team by like 3 or 4. We ended up losing to Millbrook, and anybody knows me, Millbrook runs deep. I hate Millbrook. I support all the players and all the guys I train, but
Come on,
I
man.
just hate Millbrook just because they were just a really good team. They're a bunch of dogs.
That's
But
where I
they beat
went.
us.
So.
But they ended up beating us 1 year. I mean, that year, that was like our refocus. And then we ended up winning the conference championship, the day I won the MVP of the league, we lost like an hour later. And I remember we had me and my friend had like an epic speech about it. And then, but we needed we needed that loss to really focus in, because we knew starting the playoffs, and you lose, you go home. And we just wrote it out, man. We ended up winning the state championship. It wasn't pretty, but I think we won by like 5 or 8 points, and beat Jamie Skeen. I think he ended up going to the NBA, G League, couple contracts, and yeah. So long story long. That was my senior year in my high school career, in a nutshell. So it was pretty successful in 2 years out of 3 years I played.
So, seeing that you won 2 years, was there a particular year that you kind of valued or enjoyed more with winning the state championship?
For sure, my senior year, just because it was more my team. I had a great, like I said, a great leader from Justin London. So I really got to be, I really got to understand what it was to be a great leader. See what comes with being a leader on both sides. When you lose, you kind of get blamed for it, and then when you win, it's not because of you. It's the team. So, but I like that role. I was able to handle it. Learn players' buttons, what buttons you can push, what buttons you can't push on certain players, and it was just really fun for me to learn that, because I knew later on in life and in basketball, it would definitely make a huge difference in what type of basketball player I was going to become.
Right, for sure. No, that's awesome. And then from high school, you went straight to Lenore-Ryan, right?
Actually, I went to Pfeiffer. People don't know this.
Okay.
Yeah, so like some information I usually on my players know. I had 9 Division I scholarships. And as I talked about earlier, my freshman year was a rough year. I was hanging around the wrong crowd. Didn't really do good on my grades. That's probably one of my biggest regrets. And I don't usually regret too much in life, but my grades were horrible, man. They were really bad. Sophomore year, they got better. And then senior year, really good. But I had to get a certain score on my SAT to become Division I eligible. And honestly, I think I needed like a 1080 or something like that. And ended up getting like a 1010. I was like 40 or 50 points short. It was crazy.
Right.
So I remember getting the phone call. It was actually, we're at Myrtle Beach on spring break, and the coach from Boston University at the time called me and said, you didn't become eligible, or you didn't clear to become Division I eligible. And that hurt, man. I remember that phone call. And so I ended up going to Pfeiffer. It was a huge adjustment, I was at Wakefield from like 2,000 students to like Pfeiffer. Was ridiculously small school in the middle of nowhere, about 50 minutes from Charlotte. That was a growing year for me. So like I said, I went to Pfeiffer. It was really different. And but I learned a lot about myself personally, as most people do their freshman year in college. So I went there. Then my sophomore year, senior, and junior year, I went to Lenore-Ryan.
Okay. Now, had you scored better on your SAT, was there like a favorite school you wanted to go to, or were you leaning a certain school? Like,
I wanted to go to UNCG. Offered me. It was actually like a package deal almost. Me and my best friend Scott Brooks, we both had got offered, and we said, if I got cleared, we would both try to go there. His parents were big on him going to the Navy, and then I didn't get cleared, so it was not too much of a discussion at all. He ended up going to the Navy. He's doing really good, really successful. But yeah, UNCG or Boston University, both those schools had a really big interest in me. UNCG close to home. And then Boston University, like the campus just looked amazing. It seemed cool. And that was like my school if I really wanted to get away from home and just find out, who I was as a person also. But the basketball seemed really cool there also.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your experience though at Lenore-Ryan. Obviously you said you went to Pfeiffer first, and that that kind of prepare you for, that the play and competition level at Lenore-Ryan?
It
Like,
did, man.
at all?
Pfeiffer, Pfeiffer. What I always tell people is, if you could hoop, I forgot exactly what that league was called. That conference, I might remember it later on. But that conference, you had to be a hooper. There was a guy named Bobby Buffalo, and he's from North Carolina, really good player.
He go to Barton?
Yeah, he went to
I
Barton.
remember him. Yeah.
Yep, Bobby Buffalo, and he had a point guard. Um, can't remember his name. Plays for Harlem Globetrotters now. But those two guys could hoop. At the end of the day, they were just some hoopers. So if you didn't have one-on-one defense, that league was like an ISO league. So that definitely prepared me for Lenore-Ryan. Lenore-Ryan, I wouldn't say it was easier, but it was more team basketball. It was more team-oriented, set plays, more IQ basketball. So it was a different feel for me. But when we would play those teams that had those guards that would, attack, I was already used to that, every single night in that Pfeiffer league, just guards attacking me left and right all night. So the Pfeiffer did prepare me for Lenore-Ryan, because that Pfeiffer ground was just a little different, man. It was more like a Marquette when Buzz was there. It was like it was either you were a dog or you were gonna get ate, man. So yeah, shout out to Pfeiffer. It was rough for me, but I learned a lot there. So it definitely prepared me for Lenore-Ryan.
And then your 3 years at Lenore-Ryan, how was the team there? Like, what was that atmosphere like? Because Pfeiffer obviously is like you said, like 500 kids or however many students in there. Was Lenore-Ryan much bigger? I know it's kind of tucked away there. And where's Lenore-Ryan? It's out.
Lenore-Ryan's it's also small. It's in Hickory. It's like on the opposite side. Yeah, Hickory, North Carolina.
Yep. So
but
small school to another small school, right? Like from population wise.
Lenore-Ryan was small. In my eyes, a lot bigger than Pfeiffer. Yeah, we'll just go with 500. So 500 with Pfeiffer. Lenore-Ryan was maybe about as big as my high school, slightly bigger. But it was just small things, man. Like Pfeiffer was a grind, man. Like the grass wouldn't be cut. Lenore-Ryan was just the grass was cut. There was flat screens like everywhere in every building you would go to. You just had like fraternities, all this stuff you would see like in movies was actually there for me. So Lenore-Ryan was really, really cool in that aspect. And it was really, really good basketball wise and off the court, man. I really enjoyed myself. My sophomore year, I believe we got up to rank number 9 in the nation in Division II. We were really good. I think we were the number 1 school in like wins in a row. I think Austin Davidson, that was when Curry was making his run, I believe. So I believe we had like 17 wins in a row, and like Davidson had 16 or something like that. We got up to it. But yeah, my sophomore year was a really fun run. I was really understanding, once again, of kind of reminded me of high school, like what a really good team, really good leadership looks like, holding each other accountable. And then guys just, once again, willing to win, doing the small things, team bonding, getting up extra shots, putting in extra work. I mean, it was really fun. It was really fun to adjust to that atmosphere also. And I definitely enjoyed it and learned a lot my sophomore year. That was actually our most successful year, my first year there as a sophomore at Lenore-Ryan. We were really good. We had an All-American, and I think like a regional player, first team All-Region and an All-American on that team. So just understanding, like I said, that grind and how good these Division II players are.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because training kids and stuff, like obviously like every kid wants to go Division I. It's almost like D3, D2 get bad raps. And so I'm constantly telling kids, I mean, D2, D3, whatever level you can play at, like it's no joke. I mean, I know personally, I went to Methodist, which was like a small D3 school in Fayetteville. But I mean, those kids want it just as bad as anybody, So what would you say to those kids that kind of frown upon the D2s, the D3s?
I would say just don't frown on an opportunity, man. You never know what that opportunity, what door that's going to open for you. Especially with today's technology, with social media. At the end of the day, people have been saying this for years, but if you can play, if you can hoop, someone's going to see you, but it's just really giving your all every single game. If you love something, as most people know, as we get older in life, you love something, you're willing to do whatever it takes to try to get to that next level. So like I said, with social media, if you're playing Division II and scoring 30 points a game, somebody, on the food chain is going to come and check you out. And if it happens to be a game you go off or, do something really, really well, that your name might go on that list for a tryout or a workout. I know plenty of Division II guys that have had workouts and tryouts, and people counted them out. But like I said, if you had an opportunity, you were able to try out for multiple NBA teams. Now, what you do there is, is on you and how you prepare yourself for it. But usually Division II and Division III are just skill-wise. I'm not gonna say there's a huge difference. It's just size, man. Like, I was lucky enough to play Duke. I was lucky enough to play against UNC when they won the national championship. We played against Davidson, so I was playing against Curry every single year when I was in college. These guys were extremely good, but really, well, besides Curry, his size is not huge, but these guys were just big, man. I played Psycho T, Tyler Hansborough. He was just 6'9" guy that was just willing to do whatever it took, and having somebody Division II 6'3" to do whatever it takes. That 6'9" usually now is going to win that battle and definitely is going to win the eye test on that recruiting wise. So that was probably the biggest thing Division II, but you definitely can't lose hope, man, with social media. If you're willing to put in the work, and that goes, mid-major Division I, you see Damian Lillard, Steph Curry, CJ McCollum, they're opening these windows for you, for these kids that frown upon Division II, Division III. Never frown on an opportunity.
Agreed, 100%. So touching on college there, after college ended for you, were you immediately like, hey, I want to train, or were you getting into the overseas opportunities, or tell me about that thought process, what happened there, and kind of what you went through?
Yeah, so my senior year I actually broke my jaw. So I played 11 games and I broke my jaw and I was out for the rest of the season. It was
basketball related?
Say what?
Basketball related?
Yeah, basketball related. Yep, I broke my jaw on the court. My junior year, I just come off a record-breaking year. I shot 52% from the three-point line, and that's ridiculous. I don't think anybody's ever going to beat my record. So my senior year had high hopes for sure. I actually had two agents contacted me about playing somewhere overseas. So that with that being cut short, as you can imagine, those agents really didn't show as much interest my senior year because I really didn't play, and we had started off a little rough, just adjusting to everybody's new role. But so then, I actually went overseas in the BBL. I had for the Sheffield Tigers. I went over there and actually got on their team for about a month and a half, and they ended up being released. It was some crazy business drama. So after I had played with I believe it was the Sheffield Tigers in the BBL, the British Basketball League, I had tried out for almost every team in that league. And it just didn't work out for me, man. And, you learn the business. There was a couple Americans over there that schooled me. It was really cool. Had a couple tryouts. I'll just say I had a tryout on one team. It was the best point guard in that league. And I was tearing them up, crossing them up, assists, dishing, locking them down. And I remember he looked at me because I was talking a whole bunch of trash to him. And he was like, remember, young fella, you're trying out. And but I wasn't really trying to listen to it. He was like some 29, 30-year-old, and I'm, like 23, 24, just going at him. And then he brought me in after the tryout. And he pretty much talked to me. He was like, look, man, you have to present yourself as a business and understand why this team wants you. He was like, you have to understand what the situation is going on here. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, this league, probably like the highest paid player makes like $180,000. You're in soccer, football, you're in soccer country for the most part. So, that's where all the money's going. And he was like, if you're sitting here, acting a certain way, yelling, being loud and obnoxious, it's going to be hard for the coach to get you on that aspect because you seem like you might not be coachable. And I was like, I was just, talking to you, just being competitive. And he was like, this is my preseason, man. This is me, to get a feel of the ball. I'm not going at some young fella to prove anything. He's like, you don't know, I'm the best player, in this league. And I was like, okay. And he's like, from a money standpoint, all the money is there's pretty much no money. So you're going to have to cut a player. That coach still pay the player for this month, that was cut. Then him get you on the team and get you a salary. And he was like, that's going to be really hard. that's going to be really, really hard for you to happen. You're probably going to have to, pretty much play for free. And I was like, nah, I don't know about playing for free, man. So
Yeah.
long story short, wasn't really going, wasn't really going for the playing for free part. And then I came home, man, and I started training a little bit at the YMCA because Darius was about to go to the NBA at the time. That's when he was making his run. So I was at the YMCA really training myself, and then I started to form like a small group there, and that's how kind of things got started on the training business wise. Yeah, that's how things got started slowly with that.
Okay. And then this was, so you were only overseas for just a short period of time, and then you kind of came back.
Yeah, very, very, very short period of time. Like I said, it was maybe a month and a half. Yeah, maybe 2 months max, about a month and a half.
Okay. And then you started training with DJO, and you said some other guys. And then what point did that kind of pick up for you? Like, did people see you in the gym working those guys out and start coming up to you like, hey, I want to train Mark,
Yeah, it was really cool, man. It was one thing about me, I was just really consistent. So I would have these 6 a.m. workouts with myself every single morning. I was on this 3 a day. So I would go like 6 a.m., and I would go in the afternoon, and then at night I would play pickup. Usually wherever there was pickup or, just at my local YMCA, that's all I could do. So I would go at 6 a.m., and it was kind of cool because there was a player named Damon Hard. He was ranked #1 in the nation, #1 sixth grader in the nation at the time. And I had just watched him on YouTube. And I'm walking in the gym. It's probably like 5:55 in the morning. And I see this little kid like shooting from half court. So this is probably like an NBA 3. And he's just letting it fly. And as I'm in the weight room, I'm like, is that Damon Hard? I just watched him on YouTube. And, it was Damon Hard. So I'm on the opposite side, just doing these crazy jumping box workouts. And then I guess his dad sees the consistency, and he was like, hey, man, I see you're in here every day at 6. And I was like, you're in here every day, at 6 as well, man. Like, I respect the grind definitely for this guy, being in 6th grade. And he was like, hey, I'm going to leave. I'm going to go back to California for about a week or a couple of days. Would you mind just working out my son? And I was like, sure, man, I don't mind working him out. And I was like, you mind let me jump in you guys' workout right now just to see, see what's going on and see what type of player he is? And he was like, yeah. So I remember I jumped in the workout. It was a 2.5 hour workout. The first hour and 15 minutes, we did not touch the rim. So it was all ball handling. This was like new to me. I wasn't really huge on just over-exaggerated ball handling. I was just old school, crossovers in between the legs and warm up with layups. So I learned kind of, some basketball things, some ball handling things through him. And once again, seeing his handle, I was like, wow, this must be working because this kid might be able to dribble better, better than me at 6th grade. He had that thing. It was ridiculous. And that's how things kind of got started. And then once again, my consistency. So that my afternoon sessions, if you remember when Beats headphones were like real popular. So I would have this towel on my head and then Beats headphones. So the towels had to get the sweat off, and then Beats headphones. That was like my thing. And these middle school kids would just watch me work out like in the afternoon. Like it started off like 2 or 3 kids, and then like no lie, it's probably like 10 to 12 kids just watching me. They kind of knew like, hey, we can't get on that court. That's Marcus's court. You guys got other 2 courts to choose from. And then one kid, a guy named Marcus Davis, was like, hey, can I work out with you? And I was like, yeah. You can rebound for me right now. I got to get, I have to get 50 makes to before I start my workout. He was like, yeah, man, anything. So me and this guy named Marcus Davis created a relationship. And then Marcus was like, hey, man, one of my friends wants to work with you. And I was like, hey, man, a life lesson, closed mouth doesn't get fed. So if your friend wants something, tell him to ask, just like you did. You asked, I said yes. So he was like, okay. So his friend finally asked. And then once again, another friend asked, and another friend asked. And then I had a job at Frito-Lay at the time. So I'm working at Frito-Lay. So my morning workouts had got cut off. And I find myself, like, I can't wait to – I would work pretty much like from 3 a.m. to like 9 a.m. almost every other day. Yeah. And I found myself like I couldn't wait to get off work to work out those kids. But don't get me wrong, I'm working out with them, but I just love to see like, oh, that's really hard, or this is tough, or oh man, he's really good. Just to see I wanted the kids to understand what it took to get to whatever they want to get. Like, hey, it's not going to be easy, and it's going to be consistent. And there's going to be days I definitely don't want to be there, but I'm going to be here. I know you guys are looking to me, but I'm looking forward to you guys as much, as you guys looking forward to me. And then I just felt like that love. I felt the love kind of switch very slowly now, from playing to training. But that gap took, I'm not gonna lie, it took a long time for it to really change all the way to training. So that's how it really all started. And then, like I said, I was working out Darius and playing with Darius almost every day when he was home, before he was getting drafted.
Gotcha. No, that's cool. So at what point did you say, all right, Frito-Lay, you got to go. I'm going full time with this. Like, what was that? Like, was there one specific moment where you were just like, all right, I'm done, working the 9 to 5, quote unquote. So.
Yeah. I don't remember the exact moment, but I was with Anthony Porter, and we were talking. Me and Anthony Porter hooked up, and we were talking. And he was doing it full time, and I wasn't there yet. And I just remember saying, "Man, like, how is it? Like, I know this Frito-Lay, this is a guaranteed check. This training it's definitely starting to get pretty well. But I'm like, man, I have bills, and I actually had a child on the way. So I was like, there's things that have to get done, And he just gave me the advice, like, man, if you want to do something, just go all in. Don't look left, don't look right. Just keep your eyes forward, and I promise you, whatever you want to do, you're going to accomplish. Anthony really, really, really spoke highly of me, man. Sometimes I would think like too highly. He's like, I think you can be the best. I think you are the best. You don't believe it. Like, you need to believe in yourself. And like those words of encouragement from Anthony, like, honestly, really helped me out at the very beginning. Just believing in myself, not focusing on what, the left and right noise, just focusing on what my goals were in life. And then honestly, things started to just skyrocket from right there, man. It was before like the training thing was cool or the move yet. Because I know a lot of people kind of made fun of me a little bit, like, oh, he's training, you should be playing, a trainer. Like, what are you doing training?
Right.
That's my thing, this is what I do. You play, I train. I want to get players as good as you. So yeah, so those words of encouragement from Anthony definitely played a huge role with me, going in full force. And that happened to be, I think, as soon as the summer started. As everybody knows, the summer is like the go time for the trainer. So that really was, an easy, not gonna say easy, but it was easier picking that time to go full force into training and to go just, to the wall with it. So that's when it really began. I think that was 2013. 2013 is when I fully committed to it.
Okay. So you've been going about 7 years full time with it then.
Yep, about 6.5, 7 years. My daughter's 6, almost 7. So yep, that's how I always determined how I really started.
Okay, so shout out to Anthony for kind of getting you over that hump.
Sure, man. That's my guy. Anthony Porter definitely played a huge role in that, man. He's always been like a big brother to me through this training course.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's a great mentor for sure. Because I'm kind of in that middle space now too, where I'm working full time, and it's just like, man, yeah, like you said, I'm getting a guaranteed check. I'm not quite ready to leave that yet.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
And it's tough because everybody, I feel like, kids want to be in the gym all the time, and I can't physically be in the gym all the time because of my job, and
Sure.
So it's tough, but yeah, no, for sure. So once Anthony kind of, spoke to you about all that, you said, hey, I'm dropping the job, getting into it full time. Did you see results like right away? Like, did it take off right away, or was there a bit of like a lull before it took off? Like,
honestly, it took off right away.
Okay.
I definitely would say that's not going to happen out of anybody.
Right.
I would say I was a 1%er with that, man. I remember, at least if we're talking the money part of the business part, I was like, wow, this is what I was making like that at the beginning. I thought I was going to make like year 2, year 3,
right.
just at the very beginning. So I was really pleased and happy about the income I was making. But it was also the grind. It was exactly like the basketball grind. It had its ups and downs, and I never really paid attention to it. I never really like my bad days to me weren't my bad days. It was like, hey, I'm not going to be as busy today. So I'm just literally going to be in the gym, lift weights and shoot, go work out with Darius, learn some things from Darius, or get on the phone with him to see like, hey, how is it with the Lakers? just try to get as much information as I could. At the time that I know exactly what I was doing, I would say no. But I didn't really focus on, oh, I'm not training anyone today, or I don't have this today. And I can also say, I don't know if you're going to ask this yet, but social media played a huge role, man. It was huge. I remember, we have like training centers. Like on certain days, we'll train like big groups, big numbers of young athletes. And we opened up like a new facility, or released a new facility, and no kids were there. I'll just say on a Thursday sometimes. So instead of being, I guess what most people would do, go back home, whatever they might do, I was like, hey, Instagram video just dropped, like the video feature, because if you guys remember, Instagram was all pictures. The 15-second video had just released. So I was like, hey, I have an hour and a half. I've already paid for the court. I'm just going to make like 1,000 videos, in this hour and a half, just going crazy, ball handling, shooting from really deep, doing trick shots, whatever it may be. And that came just the marketing, the advertisement. Once again, I'm just a young trainer, just putting out crazy layups and jump shots and stuff, not knowing that really, hey, I'm marketing myself. I'm eventually marketing, my brand. So that played a huge role too in those like low moments or down moments that I was still, working for the future. So I'm glad I was consistent, just, wanted to be a hard worker, just once again, wanted to be in the gym.
And as far as your business and like how you market yourself, are you, because obviously you played at a high level. I know you can do everything, I think a lot of people see your ball handling, and it's crazy because you were going back to that whole video. I mean, you're going back to that whole time where you were training, where you hopped in that Damon workout, and you were saying like, hey, you were just like basic crossover between the legs. How did that just take off for you? Because now like you have one of the best, in my point of view, you have one of the best handles I've ever seen. So
appreciate that. Yeah, I would say really just researching on YouTube. There's a guy, the I'm Possible movement, that Anthony Porter is a part of, that really breaks everything down with footwork to cool, unique, innovative drills. With that side opening up, really opened up my eyes to like the detail of ball handling, the specifics of ball handling, and then still looking at some of the street ball handling guys, because I like to learn from really everybody. Just like the Hot Sauce, the AOs, or some of the older name guys that I looked up to as a younger player, and then just kind of putting it all together, just taking bits and pieces. If it's a player standpoint, it could be like take a little bit of Allen Iverson, a little bit of Jordan, a little bit of Melo, a little of this, and kind of just fine tuning it and just saying like, how do I want to look? How do I want to be? And that's how like the ball handling got taken to the next level. I was already always a good ball handler, but it was mainly just like my speed. I might just go one crossover across you up. Now it's crossover with a counter, with another counter to, crazy layups and all that good stuff. So really just watching everybody else's stuff and learning, and then not really pointing like, hey, that's wrong, that's bad. Just, taking a little bit from it and just seeing what I think feels right. Because I was lucky enough, I was still young, so I'm still actually doing everything, not just looking at it and writing it down in a notepad. Even though nothing's wrong with that, I always say, like, if I'm young, I'm going to do it. I want to still go out there because there's going to be a time where I'm just going to be just straight up coaching. So, yeah, man, just taking pieces from everybody, every part of basketball.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you remember, but you were talking about your speed and whatnot. So I think I first met you playing pickup. We used to play pickup at like Green Road, Marsh Creek, stuff like that. Because that's how I met Milton as well, because you would all be out there. And yeah, your speed was crazy because you gone like quick cross, go, and the rack, or you were stepping back, knocking down the three. So yeah. I'd look, if you were on the other team, I'd be looking for somebody else. Like, who's got Mark? I'd be grabbing dude in the corner,
Oh man, no, those are the good days. I missed those days at Green Road, man. Those days were fun. Marsh Creek, all those things. Those were some good old days right there.
Used to be packed, and it'd be good competition too.
It would, man. It definitely would. We'll go at it, man. That's one thing about Raleigh. We'll get some good. Once the gym's known, you can get some good competition there too.
For sure. So when did you come up with Separation Team?
I don't remember the exact time. I had like a dream about it. It's pretty cool. I just had a dream about it. Let's say like 2014, 2015, sometime around that time. Um, and it just was like my end goal was to get like a team of trainers together, you know, with the goal to want to be able to take players to the next level. So like separation team pretty much was like meaning like if you want to be a player and you want to take your game to the next level, the first thing you have to do is you have to separate yourself. You know what I mean? So like you have as a player you have to go to practice, right? So it's not really separate, but it's the extra workout. And now these days, the extra workout might not even be separate. It's now mentally, what are you doing, you know, in your game? When you get home from after your second workout, what are you doing? Or it could be, you know, from film to, you know, getting in your extra push-ups, your extra sit-ups, to, you know, getting extra sprints maybe in your backyard. So my idea was, you know, getting trainers that want to take players to the next level and that want to that have an understanding that you got to separate to elevate, man. And we really want to get in their head like you need to find some way to separate yourself if you want to take yourself to the next level. So that just kind of stuck with me. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was unique. I thought it really wasn't about myself. I was combining people together just with the common vision and just taking, you know, once again, taking players, taking their games to the next level, taking business to the next level, and just keep rising and not being afraid to learn. You know, you're not really going to get anywhere in life by yourself. It's usually, you know, either a woman behind you or, you know, a whole crew of guys or girls, you know, that's going to help you to get wherever you want to in life. So just kind of get that understanding and work, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely say it worked. As far as you said, like you were trying to build and bring a bunch of trainers together.
Mm-hmm.
You have a couple guys that work for you, right?
Yep, I have a guy named AJ Smith been working with me for the past about 2.5 years. Really, really good guy. He's learned a lot. I've learned a lot from him. And a really good guy that understands how to train and understands how to push players. He played at Shaw University, so kind of Division II, understands that grind. He's been lucky enough to obviously be in Raleigh, so he's seen a lot of good, you know, local players go to that ultimate level and play with them. He has an older brother who's actually has a couple NBA workouts whenever this thing, you know, with the COVID-19, whenever it ends. So now he has an understanding of training. He knows how to train in groups. Obviously, he knows how to train privately. So hopefully, you know, he can get his brother, you know, to that next level and, you know, get some money.
Yeah. And then one thing I kind of like about you is you train all ages. I'll see you with the little ones out there and all the way up to the pro players. Do you train like, I would say, do you train like a high school player differently than you train your pros?
Yeah, I would say foremost, definitely right now, the past year, the language is different. And what I mean, I find I really try to get under guys' skin at that older high school level, just to push them. I'll in my eyes, my best, my favorite, my hardest coach was my middle school coach because he would say I'm not really a basketball coach, I'm a football coach. So you probably are going to understand how that language, how aggressive he was. But I needed it. You know, I knew if I was soft, I probably wasn't going to make it too far in basketball. I was going to be able to reach my goals. So I would say the language for sure is a big difference. So we're talking from like high school to college to pros. And then just the consistency, man, you know, being able to shoot. It's always really cool with me because, like you said, I do train from 10-year-olds to high school to college to pros. Just the difference of just, to a certain extent, of course, elite shooting, but just like, hey, we're going to get 100 shots to warm up. Like these pros are going, you know, 90 for 100, you know, 88 for 100. And these high school guys, you know, think that, you know, 70 for 100 is good. And, you know, it might be good in someone's book, but I'm just like, when this guy comes here every day and he shoots 80 for 100 every single day, and that's his warm up, you know, he's not getting water, he's not doing this. So really just, you know, definitely the shooting ability, the shooting range is a huge difference with the players. And also, like I said, how I communicate with them, how I find ways to push them is for sure different.
Okay. So you put a lot of emphasis though on shooting for all your players.
Yeah, I def for sure. I know guys, you know, see social media with ball handling. Don't get me wrong, that's still a huge focus. But just what today's basketball, man, you have to be able to shoot that basketball. Not everybody's going to be the Kyrie of the team, you know. Usually
Yeah.
they're going to have, their Kyrie, Steph Curry, their Damian Lillard, Kemba Walker. So I'm like, man, you got to be able to, when your point guard or your playmaker pass you the ball, you got to hit that three. You got to be able to hit that shot. Or if the closeout's aggressive, you got a one dribble pull up. To even a one dribble step back now if you want to get back to that 3-point line. So it's with my players, definitely in season for sure. It's shooting. We're doing 100 shots warm up. I have like 4 or 5 different ways. They know Monday's a certain way, Tuesday's a certain way, Thursday's a certain way. And I'm just sitting there watching. They're getting their shots up. I'm telling them to call out their makes. They start to get competitive. That's when it really gets fun with the kids that really want to get better. You'll see the warm-ups. They're already competing. So they don't know. I'm like, you guys are doing a true warm-up. You're only getting a sweat. You're already competing. And, we're 10 minutes into the workout. So the rest of the workout is it's a competition already, right? Right in that. And this is usually before they have practice. They'll have practice. Some of my private school guys have practice at 6. So we're getting in, 3:30 to 4:30, go home, do the homework, get some food, and they're going right to practice. So sometimes I don't think they understand like the grind they're doing right now. And it really makes me a happy coach, a happy trainer that you guys are competing already before practice. Once again, you're separating yourself from the team. I don't know what everybody else is doing. And, hopefully you should elevate your game and elevate your team success this coming up year also. So it's a really good feeling.
Definitely. So you've been blessed enough to where you've gotten to go overseas and do some camps and clinics and whatnot. Tell me about what those experiences are like, what the culture, like, the basketball culture over there is like. What are some major differences you've seen?
So yeah, I've been blessed to go to China and Israel, and those situations are really unique. They're really cool. It's really fun. I'll just break down my first experience in China was really awesome because I get there. One, I took a chance on social media. I've had multiple people contacting me before about, flying overseas, and I was really skeptical about it. And then I think 2015, I just took a leap of faith and I answered the DM. He was like, hey, what can I get for you to come here for 2 months? And I was like, well, that can't happen, but we can do something for a week and a half. I'm sure I can make that work. And he was like, hey, I can make it work for you. He made it work. I get there, train, and then he's like, hey, this is Dwayne Wade's camp. So Dwayne Wade is going to be here tomorrow. I'm like, I feel like that's something you should have told me in the email. I was like, this is awesome. He's like, yeah, D Wade, Terrence Ross, and Udonis Haslam are going to be with him. So that experience really just put me in the center. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't at some just regular camp. It was Dwayne Wade's Lean In camp. So that really brought a lot of eyes, a lot of attention. And I don't think as American trainers, there weren't a lot of them over there, at least not a lot demonstrating young ones. At the time, I think Tyler Ralph was the only one that was like really, really popular at the time that I heard about. So I just knew from there, I was like, hey, if I can kill it here, I think it's going to open up a lot of opportunities for me to travel, at least definitely amongst China. And the culture is really different there, man. It's awesome. Like they really appreciate you. Like here in America, we're kind of spoiled. We could wake up and call, I could call you, I could call Anthony, call Milton, call myself. And, 8 times out of 10, we're going to make it happen within that day or the next day. China, like, man, at day 6, autographs, they want you to take your shirt off and sign it, take your shoes off, all this crazy stuff like you're a basketball player. And it's cool just feeling wanted, feeling appreciated. Sometimes it can be over the top, but, I'm not here to say that. I definitely appreciate it all. Parents taking me out to eat to these, these wonderful restaurants. So I think just appreciation is huge over there. Definitely in China and in Israel. I think mainly internationally too. They're just blessed to be with an American trainer, someone that can demonstrate, and especially if you actually love what you do and love the kids. Now the skill is a little different. Here in America, we're extremely athletic and extremely strong. You could turn left, definitely being in the hoop state, Raleigh, you could turn left and turn right and find the middle schooler dunk. It's unique, but it's not as unique as it used to be back in the day. Overseas, it's a little different. Tap boards, guys that can't jump, not that quick. But usually the older kids, you really see their fundamentals. Like you really see hard work. You really see the players' willingness to win, understand that, hey, I'm never going to dunk and I'm fine with that. And I have, you know, 18 different pivots, 5 different shot fakes I'm going to hit you with, you know, and I know of. So it's really cool seeing the young evolution of some of the kids that don't look too good, you know, but they appreciate basketball. Then the older version, like, wow, he doesn't look like a baller, but man, he can go. And he's going to give it his all every single day. So I would say that's the biggest difference, I would say, overseas internationally. Of course, the language barrier is very difficult, but I always say, like, you know, basketball is universal. You know, especially if you can demonstrate. You know, if I put my hands up, usually that means I want the basketball. You know, we can start there, and you know, and gradually get to more different basketball situations.
Right. Yeah. No, I think obviously we've seen in the Olympics years and years ago, there was no competition for United States, but I feel like basketball in general is just starting to grow rapidly.
Yeah.
Especially like you said in China, you know, they love the NBA, they love basketball. So yeah, I think we'll definitely start to see some of those countries internationally start to kind of close that gap and get closer in skill, especially with guys like you and, you know, other skill trainers going out there and being able to kind of demonstrate and show them. So
Yeah, for sure, man. I actually had a tour this summer I was supposed to go on. You know, obviously coronavirus is here, but I was really looking forward to going to Serbia because, in my eyes, this was some of the best coaches are from in the world. So yeah, it's just interesting, like you said. You know, eventually, I think certain countries will start to close the gap slightly, especially with us in America not playing, our best players not playing as much anymore.
yeah,
It's definitely easier to close that gap, but yeah, we're starting to really see these players internationally can hoop, man. They're starting to hoop younger. Also, they're able to play, you know, pro a lot younger also. So them just being able to adjust to the speed and the physicality of it. And then just seeing these coaches, like I said, man, some of these coaches in certain areas, they really, really can coach. And there's a lot of stuff as American coaches we can learn as well.
for sure, for sure. Hey man, we're gonna go. I don't want to hold you up too long. So last piece, I just want to, you know, for upcoming trainers like myself and a lot of other people that are getting into the training space, what's some piece of advice that you would give to somebody trying to build a brand or start their own training business?
Well, I would say like what I see you doing a little bit. You know, try to have a mentor, a big brother, however you want to look at it. I would say definitely try to have one of those. Somebody, whoever you look up to, if it's somebody locally, if it's somebody, you know, internationally or out of the state, try to get in contact with them to ask them some questions, how they got started, or can I intern? I think those are great ideas. Even if you have some, you know, some things going on in your city, your state, I still think you need to invest in your time just because information is so important. You know, it can be so easy to get. You know, we make excuses, but I would say definitely finding a big brother, getting a mentor, asking questions, seeing how they grind on the court, for sure see how they grind off the court to try to learn some of the business of it. You know, with the training, it's everybody's business model kind of changes like every year and a half to 2 years anyways, especially, you know, with COVID-19 here. It's really understanding how important online training is. And then once you get that big brother, that mentor, just, you know, don't, like I said earlier, don't look left, don't look right, man. Just keep your faith. Whatever you want to do, you can do, but it's going to be tough. There's going to be moments you want to quit. There's definitely been moments I wanted to, you know, quit and just look to something else. But that just makes it fun. I always say life's like a roller coaster. So, you know, enjoy the bottom of the roller coaster as much as you enjoy the top. And yeah, just have faith, man. You can do anything. You know, you guys can do anything you want if you don't look left, if you don't look right. You just keep focused. You know, keep God first, and just keep grinding, man. You know, it's enough players. There's enough information here for everybody to be successful on the court, successful business wise, you know, relationship wise. And most of these people really want to help. You know, if you're a good trainer, you're a good mentor, you really want to help the next upcoming trainers because, you know, I have kids, so I want whoever's next up. I want them, you know, training my kid. I want them doing this, and I want them to be the best, you know, they can be. And I know trainers and coaches play a huge role in not only the sport, but, you know, life. So, yeah, I think that's just the biggest information I can give upcoming coaches. I had it. I believe Anthony had it. And I think at the end of the day, most trainers, most coaches, most people in life should have it. So I would say that's the most important information.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's very valuable. It's kind of similar to you. Anthony's been like a big brother to me. He's kind of put me on in different, with different opportunities and whatnot. So he's been a big help. But just for anyone listening, like I've had a lot of luck just reaching out to guys like Marcus and Milton and Anthony, whoever it is, and they're good at getting back to me. They're always responsive, always willing to help. So whether you're in North Carolina or, somewhere else nationwide, I mean, reach out to people like Marcus was saying. And most trainers are very good about getting back to you and giving you some advice and willing to help. So.
For sure. For sure.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Appreciate it. Go ahead and let everyone know where they can follow you, on social media and whatnot.
Yeah, Instagram, Marcus Hodges 1. You guys can follow me there. Social media, what is social media? Facebook, I believe Marcus Hodges, Separation Team, 2 Facebooks there. And then on TikTok, you guys can follow me at Separation Team also, and that's SEPA. A lot of people like to put PE, Separation Team, on TikTok also. So, yeah, those are my social medias. I appreciate your time, man, and thank you for having me, man. It's a blessing. Thank you for having me. Definitely, listen. All stay safe. Wash your hands out here. These are crazy times. And hey, man, be safe.
Absolutely. All right, Mark. I appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you. Thank you,
buddy. Feel free to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow Mark on his social medias. He's putting out fire content every day, sometimes multiple times a day. So definitely be on the lookout.
Appreciate it.
All right, Mark. Appreciate it.
All right. Take care. All right.